Welcome back to the Family Album. As always, I'm your host, AJ Tenari.
And I'm Matt Glass.
Last week, you heard a very special guest episode with Maria where we talked about beach weather.
That was a really, really nice episode.
Yeah, you know, very, very wholesome, very sweet.
Always a fan of alternative, and honestly, great staple. No, well, not staple. Let's say not yet. Honestly, that's good. Good point. Good point.
Yes.
Not yet, but I think a very good playlist filler if you really want to have some more
warm summer vibes.
Yeah,
a little bit of a low key vibe too. One might say.
Nicholas Santino might say. But anyway. That is not this week's topic.
No, the vibes are fucking shifting this week, my friend.
Oh, yes, they are.
We got a very interesting pair of albums. One called one of the best albums of all time, and the other, no one fucking knows what it is.
But they both have something to do, sort of, kind of, in a way, with the Beatles.
Exactly. The Beatles, the bane of Matt's existence.
So here's the thing about the Beatles. By the way, for clarification, one band is not the Beatles, but they use Beatles artwork and graffiti all over it.
They do.
And it's kind of dope. I really like that as a statement. Mm-hmm. And the other one is another Beatles song. I'll tell you just what albums they are.
Yeah, what do we got, Matt?
We got the very much highly regarded White Album by the Beatles.
Yeah.
It's like a Celta. It's just called The Beatles.
Yeah, but
it's known worldwide as the White Album.
Much like Weezer's Blue Album and Green Album and Red Album and so on.
As the saga continues. No, but one is the esteemed, that was the word I was trying to say earlier, White Album by the Beatles. Mm-hmm. The other one is a very interesting album from 1973, I believe. 74, called Meet the Residents by the Residents.
Exactly, their debut studio album.
And both are very interesting in their own regard, kind of for similar reasons in a weird way.
Yes.
Only one of them kind of embraces
that angle
than the other one. Mm-hmm. But we'll get to that in a bit. AJ, which one do you want to start with?
Oh my God, this is the first time I've been asked. Hey, Matt, you know what I love?
Steely Dan?
Well, yes, but I also love how easy it is for two goobers like us to make a podcast.
I mean, with Spotify for Podcasters, it's no wonder. Spotify for Podcasters is a one-stop shop that's got everything you need to create the perfect podcast.
That's right. Using Spotify for Podcasters, you can directly record and edit your podcast wherever you are, using their intuitive and easy-to-use website.
And once you're done editing, Spotify for Podcasters takes care of the hard part and distributes your podcast directly to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are available.
And now you can even make video podcasts available on Spotify, which gives you even more freedom to make the podcast you want while also giving your lovely listeners a chance to see your face.
Speaking of listeners, Spotify for Podcasters also encourages fan engagement by letting you get feedback directly from your listeners with Q&As and polls made by you.
You can even make money with your podcast through ads, podcast subscriptions, and donations directly from your audience.
Spotify for Podcasters offers all of this, and it's completely free to use with no catch whatsoever.
Guys, Spotify for Podcasters made recording and distributing the Family Album so easy. Being able to schedule our episodes ahead of time and letting them take care of distribution took so much weight off our shoulders.
For anyone that's ever even thought about starting a podcast, we highly recommend giving Spotify for Podcasters a try.
You can download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started.
Once again, download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters.
Matt, what do you want to say?
I feel like we need, if we're doing the Beatles, we got to give the audience what they want. We got to start with the Beatles.
Yeah, the White Album, that's fair. All right. So, the White Album was released November 22nd, 1968 on Apple Records, and it was the album made during a time of high tension with the band that eventually led to their breakup through creative differences plaguing each member, as well as the introduction of Yoko Ono.
Yeah, it's actually funny because, the Beatles, they, I think at one point they honestly just kind of stopped wanting to be the Beatles. Yeah. And I fucking understand that. If you're that popular of an artist to the point where movies are being fucking made about you every other year. Yeah, I mean, of course. Plus, they also started when they were in early high school.
Was that true?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
They pretty much, yeah. They started I'm pretty sure they started when they were all 15.
Damn.
Ringo being 16 because he was a year older than them, I'm pretty sure.
Well, fact checked if not, but that's still pretty fucking young.
He is older than them. I do know that. He was always the oldest. Mm-hmm. But Richard Starkey. But it's the thing, that's his name. Ringo.
Yes.
I love it. But the thing is though, they literally they started off super, super young. Mm-hmm. And then they just kept going and going and
like
going.
immediately catapulted into like the zeitgeist. It was insane.
With fucking movies and just like hystania, Beatlemania, if you will.
Even.
I just said hystania. It's hysteria.
I think you had the hysteria and the mania together.
We're trademarking that.
Yeah.
Write that down, Oxford.
Certified hystania. And Kyle.
Exactly. And exactly. But yeah, the White Album has always been an album that like I gave it to you because I feel like it's regarded as one of like the best albums of all time. And it's got a lot of really, really popular songs.
Yeah,
all Beatles
100%.
songs are popular, to be honest with you. Like so many of them are. But I personally, it's funny. I gave this to you under the impression because ladies and gentlemen, please forgive me. I personally did not like the White Album as a whole for like the longest time. But of course, I got to re-listen for the podcast. And for most of the way that I listened, I got to say, I was not hating it.
Yeah, man.
I think it's because like my music taste has really changed throughout my life in terms of like active listening. And this album has so many weird things to offer. But after listening to artists like Ween and Moxie Fruvis,
even
and
this group, the Residents,
and the Residents, Primus, like all these fucking artists, I feel like it's all like I didn't mind it nearly as much.
You build like a tolerance towards it. They're like, okay, I can fuck with this.
I'm very excited to hear like your thoughts about the individual tracks.
Yeah.
So we'll jump in. But yeah, I just wanted to preface why I gave AJ this album early on.
I mean, the only other Beatles album I listened to in full is Abbey Road, which I liked, but it didn't really do much for me because I think, like what you were saying, I've just been exposed to so much other different things like Ween. I was like, oh, I've heard this, but just done better in my opinion. So I don't hate the Beatles. I just don't have much of a grasp on their stuff. But I was very impressed by the White Album. I really enjoyed this album.
Part of the reason why I don't love the Beatles as much anymore, and that's just a personal thing, is that I kind of hyperfixated on them for a while, and they were like the only thing I listened to.
So you just got burnt out.
Yeah, so I got a little bit of Beatle
burnout?
Beatle burnout, if you will.
BBO.
Yeah, as one might say. But no, I'm very excited to jump in. I'm very excited to start talking about these with you. Let's get started.
Yeah, we got a lot to cover. So starting off, we have Back in the U.S.S.R., one of their biggest songs, and I can see why. It's a very, very good song.
This one actually made it off of my, because I had like a giant Beatles playlist.
Yeah.
This one has been added and removed from my playlist several times.
Interesting.
But hey, honestly, I gotta appreciate credit where credit is due. It's a fun song.
It's very catchy. I like Paul's vocals a lot here. I like his delivery.
I'm back in the U.S.S.R.
Yeah, like also the Beach Boys influence on all those harmonies during the choruses are so fun. I like the music is great. The studio imagery with the plane noises going back and forth through the channels.
It is fun. The Beatles always love to just mess around with random sound effect shit, and it's my favorite
on this album a lot.
I never realized how much I actually appreciated it, like up on this like really recent listen, because honestly, like when I was like a few years ago, I was like, ugh. But now I'm just kind of like, you know what?
Yeah,
I'm a fan.
It's not bad. I also, just to mention, on Spotify, it has like the older mixes where like everything's kind of in like one channel or the other. But my friend Evan actually sent me Beatles mono mixes, so I was able to like listen to it how like they're supposed like in like the most pristine condition. And holy fuck, it was such a better experience than listening to it on Spotify. It was really good.
I would imagine so. I feel like the Beatles. Here's the thing about them. Also, I feel like when you attach the stereo like aspect to it, it starts to really get almost nauseating with the sound effects and like how like hard hitting it can be. So, I mean, I can definitely understand that. I've only listened to this in stereo. So honestly,
I can send you those mixes, man.
Fair enough. I'd love to hear them.
I got it for like a bunch of those albums. So shout out Evan real quick.
Yeah. He'll be he'll be on at some point.
He will be eventually in a couple weeks maybe.
Probably, yeah. I think so. But yeah, Back in the U.S.S.R.
Great opener.
It really is.
Moving on, we have Dear Prudence. I think this is a really nice follow-up. It's a nice slow down. It also has a really nice transition with the plane noises.
It does. And
it's also just a very, very sweet track.
This is one that I never had on my giant Beatles playlist, but this one grew on me upon like this recent listen. A lot of the times I didn't like the Beatles like delivery on certain things. Yeah. Like I don't really love John Lennon's voice on this track, but I will say this track grew on me. Just something about the way he's like, Dear Prudence. Like it's so like tinny in his mouth. You know what I mean? Like it's weird.
Bro's chewing on cans over here.
No, but I think like as the song progresses, it starts to get really, really like pleasant sounding.
Yeah, that's what I said. A very pleasant song. It's got some really clean bass work, and I also like how the beat kind of switches through like each verse. It's very, very nice.
Do you know what the song is about?
So John Lennon went to a retreat.
Yeah.
Was it just him or was it all the Beatles?
So I'm pretty sure, I don't know, because at one point they all went. I'm not sure this was the time that they all went. And also Mike Love was there for like some reason.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Why the fuck, why not? But yeah. But anyway, I think he and the other three were waiting for this girl to like come out to her balcony to see her and be like, oh, Prudence, come out to play. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure that was the meaning that I looked up the one time.
What I found when doing my research was that like it was about this girl that was in their group because they went on a tree with Maharishi.
Yes,
who was like a guru, and they were like trying to like enlighten themselves to like reach God. And this Prudence took it like really seriously and kind of like got like lost in herself, and like she didn't come out of her tent for like a while. So John Lennon kind of like wrote this to calm her down.
It's wild. Like, I feel like, here's the other thing with Beatles songs. A lot of times when you try to look up what, like, one of their songs means, you could get, like, a million different answers.
Which would segue into the next song, actually, very well. Glass Onion.
This one was never one that made it onto my playlist, but upon the re-listen, it references all their old material.
Yeah.
Like the Strawberry Fields.
I'm the Walrus.
The Fool on the Hill, which is another song. Like I'm the Walrus on Magical Mystery Tour, which is an album that has grown on me, surprisingly.
Nice.
But yeah, it references like a bunch of different songs of theirs.
Yeah.
They even reference Sgt. Pepper, I think, with the Fixing a Hole.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So, that's one of my favorites. But yeah, this one was never like one of my favorites, but I gotta appreciate it. I just like the standard like
the
setup.
rock sound, so this song is basically about people looking for deeper meaning in like a Beatles song with the imagery of a glass onion.
Yeah.
I think there's layers there, but it's see-through, which is, very clever. Also, did you notice anything interesting about the ending orchestral arrangement, the strings at the end, the outro?
There were some pizzicato strings.
Well, there was, but what it was sampled on?
What?
MF Doom's Tick Tick off his debut album, Operation Doomsday.
That's pretty fucking dope.
I heard those strings and I was like, holy fuck, I know this from somewhere. And I was like, it's MF Doom. And I was like, oh my fucking God, he sampled a Beatles song? That's crazy.
That's pretty cool. I love when artists do shit like that.
Yeah.
Especially since like this is like off a very iconic album, but not exactly like a direct like...
Yeah, like you wouldn't expect like a rapper to sample the Beatles. It's always fucking cool when they do that.
I also don't think people like think, oh yeah,
Glass Onion.
Play Glass Onion, man. The classic Beatles fucking menagerie. I don't know why I decided to turn to Frank Reynolds there.
It's a good voice, man.
You gotta get your glass onion, Charlie.
Charlie, when I bite into a glass onion,
I bleed everywhere.
But it's so worth it for the taste.
Drop some acid with me. Nah, but I gotta say though, like something about the standard like rock setup they usually have for a lot of their songs,
it just works.
It's kind of refreshing.
Yeah,
it was refreshing to dive back into that after like so long of me just purging myself from the Beatles.
Yeah.
So you know what? I gotta say, Glass Onion, pretty solid.
It is very solid. Next, we move on to one of their biggest songs, Obla Di, Obla Da.
This is my favorite fucking song on this album.
Nice.
I love this song so much.
Hell yeah.
I love I don't even know, like, I don't even know fully what this song is about even.
So Paul met this dude, I forget where, but that was his saying was Obla Di, Obla Da.
Oh, wait, yeah. I kind of remember that. And was the guy from...
It was somewhere in Africa.
I was going to say Africa, yeah. I didn't want to be incorrect. I'm trying to be better at that because it's more work for AJ and I feel so bad. No, but yeah, I think I do remember that was one of the sayings. They have, if you look in their discography on Spotify, they have these anthology albums where they have like all the rough drafts of each of the songs. And the rough draft of this one is really weird.
Okay.
It kind of like it's weird. It almost sounds like disco-ish.
Interesting.
I don't know how.
I guess I can kind of see that here because it's such like a bouncy beat.
Yeah.
With that tuba, nice little.
I do know this song in particular was a pain in the ass to record because like
I could see that
because it's on the like the dun 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 dun.
Yes,
like,
so much upbeat.
And I think so. Paul, Ringo, and George tried to record this without John in the sessions. They're like, this shit fucking sucks. And then John shows up, and then like that's when it all just came together. Because John, I believe, was on the piano for this.
Okay.
I believe he was on the piano for this.
Also, John hates this song, I believe.
Yeah, he does hate this song.
Which he shouldn't. It's fun.
It's fucking great. And it's
good message too, life goes on. Fucking carry on. Fuck off, Nate Ruess. Get out. Get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out of here.
We're so sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, it won't happen again.
Yeah. But yeah, Ola Di Ola Da, just a great all-around song.
This next song, however, I fucking hate.
So I've heard this called like one of the worst Beatles songs ever. So I was expecting a lot worse. And as we said, having exposure to all this like more out there experimental bands, I didn't really mind it. I'm just like, oh, whatever. It's very inoffensive because it's only like a minute long.
That is fair. It is a lot shorter than I remember it being. Oh, by the way, it's called Wild Honey Pie.
Yeah.
I probably should have prefaced that. It's the 5th track off of
the Beatles' White Album, released in 1968.
Man, what a lack of nuance that I guess we did not present, which is my fault because I jumped the gun because I get very excited to talk about the Beatles. Right. No, I mean, it's not as bad as I remember, but at the same time, I still don't like it.
Yeah, it's not good, but it's not like as offensive as I've heard it be called. Also, this album, I've heard like people call that it's like challenging. It's like definitely don't start with this album, but it's like really good through and through. Like the low moments are low, but they're very few and far between, in my opinion.
Okay, that's respectable. I mean, as like a diehard fan of Ween, I can definitely see like why you would like this album for sure.
Yeah. So I'm like, fuck, I have a very high tolerance for weird, which we will get into for our next album, which I gave the Matt.
I can't wait to talk about that one either.
Yeah. So honestly, Wild Honey Pie didn't bother me that much. I like the instrumental. It's very goofy, but it reminds me kind of Earthbound, the video game, which is my favorite game of all time.
I don't know much about Earthbound, but from what little I've heard of the soundtrack, I can kind of see what you mean.
A lot of bleeps and blurps, just kind of weird string things. It's cool.
It feels like very smelly to listen to. Like, does that make sense?
The Earthbound soundtrack?
No, I meant this
Wild
track.
Honey Pie.
Yeah, I also just like, I hate like the weird like honey pie, and also the weird honey pie.
Oh
like,
yeah,
little weird thing going on. Oh, like, you know what I mean? Like it's weird. I don't like that. That's a weird vocal effect, and just the way his delivery, like it was like honey pie.
Yeah, it just sounds stupid.
I don't know. Something about it. I'm just like, yeah.
It is interesting though. This album doesn't need to be a double album. Like they could easily take off Wild Honey Pie and it'd be even better. So it's interesting that they kept this in.
Yeah, it really is. I think this was honestly like a shitpost album that just kind of became
that took off
one of their most popular and kind of controversial in popularity albums.
Okay.
But it's also like, here's the thing. It's got weird moments like this, but the highs are very high.
So fucking high, man.
Like I cannot wait to talk about a few of like the later tracks because there's because some of them touch on social justice issues.
Yeah, dude.
Which is pretty insane.
I know.
So I don't know. I think at this point the Beatles were just so weary. They just wanted to crank out
just
as
get
much
out whatever
shit
they could.
They could.
Especially
and they sure did.
When they had so much infighting and they're basically just doing their own ideas. So it's just kind of like fucking throw shit at the wall, see what sticks.
Absolutely.
Next up, we have the continuous story of Bungalow Bill.
I also don't like this track very much, but it grew on me on the second listen.
It's fine. I like the overall beat. The percussion on the song especially is really fun. I like the beat, the tempo shift between the choruses and the verses. I think that's a nice touch. Bungalow Bill's a piece of shit.
Yeah, of course.
All my homies hate Bungalow Bill.
Exactly. All my Bungalow boys hate Bungalow Bill.
Yeah. Shout out my Bungalow boys real quick.
The Gargunga Bungalow boys. The Bungalow Bogs.
Gargunga Bungalow.
That's wild.
But Yoko Ono is on this song.
Yes, she sure is.
It doesn't ruin it, but it's something that's there and we have to acknowledge it.
Here's the thing about Yoko Ono. Like, I know a lot of people hate Yoko Ono, but I've never really truly hated her that much. I think she is very weird.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, and has made a lot of choices.
The Chuck Berry video.
Oh, I gotta be honest with you, that's one of my favorite videos of all time. The face he makes as he's playing guitar and singing, it's like one of the funniest.
It's so good.
It's pretty good. The thing is though, I feel like she didn't split up the Beatles.
No.
And if you watch the Get Back documentary, I think you can kind of see that.
Yeah, she's just like chilling, right? For the most part. Yeah.
The media really, really, really tried to paint her as like the reason, but she didn't. She didn't split them up.
She was just there.
I'll die on that hill. So honestly, it's a time.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the continuing adventures of Bungalow Bill. Anything else to add?
Not really. I mean, the song has never been one that I like go to, so I don't think I don't really have anything to say about it.
I mean, like, it's not terrible. I think it's like a fun, little 6-track, but there are definitely better options on this album.
For sure. Like, it's like Glass Onion. I'm not going to like just be like, hey, you know what I would love if we're talking the Beatles?
A crunch of that glass onion.
a nice continuing story of Bungalow Bill. Who the, like, continuing? Like,
is there a prequel? Much like Bitch Please 2, is there a prelude to Bungalow Bill?
People have said that Bitch Please 2 is the Bungalow Bill
of rap
of Eminem's discography. No, there's nothing more I gotta say, AJ.
All right, well, moving on to one of the most iconic tracks from this album, we have While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
Dude, I never fully appreciated this track until I was older.
Yeah, man.
Like well after when... Like, even when I was, like, really hyper-fixated on the Beatles, I was just never into this track. It wasn't until afterwards, like, after my hyperfixation kind of died, my Beatlemania kind of died, if you will, where I really started to just appreciate this song for what it is.
Yeah, man.
It's hauntingly nice.
It's incredible, dude. The guitar work is phenomenal. Eric Clapton doing that solo. Just... The vocal it's George Harrison, dude. The vocals.
It is
right?
George Harrison. He wrote the lyrics, I believe.
I know this is his track. I just didn't know if he did the vocals.
I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah. This is known as a George Harrison like song.
Cool. Well, it definitely you can definitely tell because he is the best Beatle.
He is, and I'm willing to die on that hill. I feel like my favorite Beatle has changed. My favorite Beatle was like all four of them at one point. Like I've had each one of them as my favorite.
Been through a phase for each one.
But as I've kind of sifted through like all the discography, all of, like the tracks, I find that George's songs, or the George heavy songs at least, where you can really hear him, you got to just appreciate everything about George.
Yeah, man.
And his solo career is just fucking amazing.
Yeah, I gotta dive more into that. I only know My Sweet Lord.
He has a lot of really good stuff. I Got My Mind Set on You. That was like a hit in the 80s. It fucking rips. It's so good. But yeah, this song, all the elements just like going together. Like,
I know, man. The
slight
organ,
the slight piano.
Yeah, dude.
But also the beat.
Yeah, it's very driving. Even though it's like very simple, it works with the tone very well.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad. I don't know what just happened. I saw something outside, like scurry.
We saw a little ghoul.
Yeah. Oh shit.
We do have a bit of a ghoul infestation. I'm sorry.
Fuck.
We'll deal with it, ladies and gentlemen. If it becomes too much of an issue, we'll address it. But for now, he's just standing in the corner. It's fine.
We're just gonna call upon the ghost of Harold Ramis from Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters, yeah.
Egon Spangler.
Hello, Egon.
Anyway, My Guitar Gently Weeps, or Why My Guitar Gently Weeps. Something's weeping. It's great.
Exactly. Whenever something's weeping, you know you're gonna have a good time.
Exactly.
Next up, we have Happiness is a Worm Gun. This is a pretty cool song. Divided into 3 sections, doing some different stylistic choices. As it tells a kind of story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe I think this is one of John's attempts of being sort of an activist.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Do not quote me on that. This might have been before the whole like give peace a chance.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know it was way before because that was after the Beatles ended. But I think this is when this is one of the early examples of like kind of John being like, hey,
there's some shit going down.
Stop what you're doing.
Yeah.
But more British.
Exactly.
It was more like stop what you're doing.
Stop what you're doing.
That's that. John Lennon. But anyway, this was never one that I gravitated towards, but upon re-listening to it this morning, I gotta say, the beat kind of fucks though.
Yeah, I appreciate like the experimentation they're doing, where it kind of goes to, like different genres through each section. Like the second section is kind of like just a straight ahead rock and roll thing. Then like the last part's almost like a gospel R&B kind of a ballad. It's really cool.
Yeah, and it's also still core Beatles.
Yeah,
like a lot of these tracks are sort of just like these. I don't want to say filler tracks.
Like honestly, kind of experiments.
Yeah, they're like experiments, but that still have like the Beatle-ish elements.
Yeah,
so I can appreciate it for what it is. Like, I just don't think it's lyrically, like, my favorite one.
No, I mean, it's pretty simple. It's also very nonsensical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the way John would write is pretty nonsensical. A lot of things John would do was pretty nonsensical.
That's also fair.
But not a lot to say about it from my end. I don't know about you.
No, not really. I mean, I like the tuba.
Yeah.
The use of tuba on this album in general is very nice. And the horns and strings are fucking phenomenal all throughout.
Listen, there was a tuba decline. I don't know if you knew that.
That's true. The Great Tuba Drought of 1968 was in full effect, and this was their fucking statement about that.
That's true. Happiness is, in fact, a warm tuba.
Yes.
Yes.
Next up, we have Martha, My Dear. I actually really like this song.
It's, okay, like, this isn't the only one that's kind of like a very piano central.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we had Obla Di Obla Da, which is like a really kind of
all those
like,
upbeats.
Yeah, and that was really cool. But Martha, My Dear is sort of this like, I don't even know. It's just a really nice like.
It's kind of like a show tune. It really reminds me of something off A Night at the Opera by Queen.
I can see that a lot. It has little elements of I guess A Night at the Opera by Queen. I can see that kind of having elements of Martha, My Dear, especially in like Seaside Rendezvous.
Yep, exactly what I was thinking.
I know John fucking hated a lot of these songs that Paul would write that were kind of like these. I think they were called like, I forget what he exactly called them. Some like granny something.
Okay.
Like granny tunes, I'm pretty sure.
But yeah, like the instrumentation on this song is really good. Again, there's more tuba.
Yeah.
It's gotta fucking love that. I do really love the piano, and the orchestra just complements it so well on all the verses. And I love like the style switch. I think it's either before or after the first chorus when the drums come in. It's really nice. Just builds upon the whole song very well.
I get chills when it's just like da 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 in the thick of it. Like something about that. I'm like, oh wait, this is kind of hits.
Yeah, man.
Like musically, I think I need to give more credit to this album where credit is due. Like I think for a while I thought this was kind of like a what the fuck kind of compared to like all the other like albums, but this one like it's got some really nice like things about it. I just feel like maybe because I only listen to it, I only know it in stereo.
I gotcha. Yeah.
So maybe with all of it being so jumpy when it goes from one ear to the other, because you had the pleasure of listening to mono, because you had mono, AJ.
Guys, if you really want to experience the Beatles' White Album, find someone who has mono, stick your tongue down their throat, and you'll be set.
Long story short, John Lennon kissed AJ on the mouth.
That's true. And I did get arrested.
His nose was very pointy. I
defiled a grave, but it was for you guys, okay?
Exactly. All you need to know is...
all you need is love.
All you need to know is I'm so tired.
Yeah.
It's the next track.
Exactly. On the Beatles' White Album from 1968.
Yes.
This one is honestly a vibe.
I will say... Like, it's sort of like this weird tangent that I feel like John goes on.
Yeah.
But the part it's like, keep my place in mind.
Yeah,
like
that part fucking rules. Like, I love it.
Paul McCartney on his high range, he just like screams and will just go for it.
Yeah.
But he just does it.
He always just like compliments the other vocalists very well. It's just great.
He is good at blending.
But yeah, really like... The whole vibe of this song, you can kind of sympathize with the Beatles because they're so in the mainstream, just being talked about, kind of just done with their career.
Yeah.
Especially with all this infighting, they just kind of want to relax, you know?
Yeah, I feel like they didn't really know how to articulate even being sick of each other.
Yeah.
Because they just had to be around each other all of the fucking
It was their
time.
job.
Like, no wonder they did drugs. People can shame them all they want for, like, doing whatever drugs they did to make a Magical Mystery Tour happen.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, like, they were around each other all the fucking time.
And it was like part of the counterculture too. You couldn't get away from it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Without, like, a major headline.
Yeah, man.
So, honestly, hey... As much as this album might be a shitpost, it's quite literally one of the most famous shitposts in history.
Yeah, and soon Scaring the Hose will be right up there with it.
One can dream.
Yes.
But I'm so tired. I do like this song. This is a playlist vibe.
I agree.
So I do appreciate it for what it is.
I concur.
Anywho. Anything else to say about it? The instrumentation's pretty good, I will say.
It is. I like Ringo's beat specifically on the last chorus. Very, very nice. Drives it very well. But transitioning to this next song, one of the most famous from this album.
I have such a soft spot for this song. I one time had the pleasure. It was like the most... okay. So for those who don't know...
this is Blackbird.
Yes. A song that Paul McCartney wrote about the... very, very, very pressing events of systemic racism against black people in America. And this song has just, well, first of all, the lyrics are just absolutely beautiful. They're so hopeful, like hope springs eternal in these lyrics, just Blackbird fly, just really promoting black excellence, which is kind of just like, as I guess as like a white artist, it's such a nice thing that he like, you know what I mean? That he took the time.
He was giving them like a voice.
Yeah, for sure. in like a respectful way too. Like he wasn't trying to say like represent or anything.
Yeah, he wasn't
like
trying to be
either.
a white savior. He was just trying to bring attention to the issue.
Yeah, but also just acknowledging the fact that like, just keep on flying, keep on being excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Something about it is just like into the light of a deep black night.
I think so.
Yeah.
And then like just musically wise, it's just so intimate. It's just him with a guitar and you hear his foot tapping in the studio.
It is intimate. Intimate is definitely the word I would use. Like, into the light of a dark black night, not deep, dark. One thing, I just want to share a little personal thing with this song. One time I was in New York and it was kind of crazy. We took the subway like a long time. I was really young. And it's funny, I didn't even know this was a fucking Beatles song until like I found out and I was, smart and had the internet later on in life. But I remember, oh my God, this has to be years ago. My family and I went to New York and we took like a few subways to like get to where we needed to be. Cause I think it was like to get to this parking. New York is crazy.
Yeah.
So in one of the subways, I shit you not, there was a full on upright piano. This guy was playing an upright fucking piano that was wheeled in, maybe just left there. I don't know. But he was playing and singing this song for tips. And I shit you not, AJ, it was honestly one of the most like beautiful moments I've ever experienced in my life. It's like a weird like
the core memory.
Yeah, that I kind of always kept to myself. But like, and at the time I didn't even know like the song. I didn't pay attention to the words, just heard the melody. And when I heard the song again, like later on in the years, I was like, why do I know this melody? And then like out of nowhere it hit me and I was like, oh my God.
Whoa.
So like, it's like a weird thing. Like I just have that core memory of that song. That song is just so amazing. It lived beyond any concept of the Beatles that I was able to develop later on in life. So I almost don't associate the song with the Beatles.
Just that moment.
Yeah.
How old were you? Do you remember?
Oh my God. I think I was like 5 or 6 years old.
Damn, dude.
It was wild.
That's powerful, man.
I think, and like now when I hear that song, I like, I had to always like take a second and just kind of like stop and be like, wow.
Reflect.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
I just love the song. I could listen to it at any point.
It's very good. I understand why it's like so popular. I do really like the song. I do also have a bit of a personal experience, and you do as well. Someone that we used to know would play this riff constantly on their guitar.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
I'm surprised that didn't bother me.
I think it's because I didn't know the context of the song. I only heard this riff before hearing the actual song on the album, and since it was played over and over again, it just kind of like got on my nerves.
I see. I gotcha.
But now I have an appreciation for it, knowing like the context.
For sure. And I'm surprised it didn't bother me because, wow, we're just not like, sorry audience, but yeah, no. Honestly though, it's a pretty song. Yeah. I almost just burped. Anyway.
Oh, hot.
Blackbird, it's a magical track.
You sound a bit like a piggy right now.
Oh, AJ.
I'm back at it again.
I actually really like this track.
I do too.
It's just like so innocent. Like
it's so stupid, but I fucking love it. It's George Harrison's critique on capitalism, comparing capitalists to pigs.
Is that what this song is about?
Yeah.
Holy shit. I thought it was just about pigs.
No, like the musicality of it, it's supposed to be like satirical. It's this kind of like, honestly, like glitzy, glamorous, almost like a ballroom kind of Baroque pop is what the word I saw was.
Yeah.
Just kind of like this Baroque pop music over top of this, like just kind of dirty, filthy imagery of pigs, just, being gross and dirty and eating and cannibalism, eating the bacon at the end, the punchline. Yeah. It's all about capitalism.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, man.
Interesting.
It's just a fun song.
I do like it. The Beatles do have a really nice like way of writing like whimsical sounding songs that like sometimes make sense, sometimes are just complete works of absolute fucking fiction.
Yes.
Piggies though, I do like the way it sounds.
Yeah.
It is very elegant.
I know, you have the nice harpsichord in there and the strings.
In the intro, yeah. It's nice. This wasn't one that really made it onto my playlist that much.
No, I mean, it's just mostly something that like I would just go back for on the album. Like I wouldn't go out of my way, but I still love hearing it every time.
Of course.
Also, they're just piggies living their lives, going out with their piggy wives.
Yeah.
And isn't that all just something we can relate to?
Hey, fucking men, AJ, honestly, in this economy. But anyway.
True. Next up.
We're getting a little bit rocky.
We are. AJ. This show has always been on rocky footing.
Yes, that is very true.
But with Rocky Raccoon, we have nothing to worry about.
This song fucks a lot harder than I remember.
I know, it fucks a lot harder than it should.
It really should. Like, I I don't even know what fully this song is about either.
So it's kind of like a cowboy story about this little raccoon cowboy named Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah.
Inspired actually the Marvel character Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah.
And basically he's on a mission to get his girl back from Danny, I believe is his rival's name. When he goes to engage him in a duel, Danny just shoots him outright and wins.
I see.
And then Rocky's kind of bleeding out in his hotel room. The doctor patches him up and he sees a Bible there and he realizes, you know what? Everything's going to be okay. I'm reborn. I'm forgiven.
I got to really pay attention to the lyrics more.
Yeah, it's a fun little story song.
It is.
I love the chorus too.
It is again, it's whimsical and technically kind of fiction.
Yeah.
Same time though, it's good. Like it's a good track. Never a playlist return, but at the same time, I will not turn it off.
Yeah, it's got great storytelling. There's some nice musical elements. I especially love Paul's on this, right?
I believe so. Yes.
I love Paul's vocals on this too.
I feel like we did not clarify that earlier joke about Rocket Raccoon was like a joke.
Mm-hmm. Wait, of the MCU?
Yeah.
No, that's true. This song actually inspired the character Rocket Raccoon.
I thought you said like the reverse, that the song wasn't inspired by.
No.
Okay, so that makes more sense.
Yeah.
I heard that, the song was inspired. I was about to be like, wait, that couldn't have.
Okay, my bad.
It's okay. I think I just heard wrong.
Rocky, it's
Kyle,
tough.
could you bring me some Q-tips? I cannot hear anything. There you go. Scurrying along. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Fiend.
Ew, it's like covered in whatever. I don't care. Anywho.
Don't pass me by, Kyle.
Yeah, Don't Pass Me By is the next track.
This is Ringo's first song. Is it his only song on this album?
I'm 90% sure.
Okay, if not, description. You guys should know it by now.
Yeah, no, honestly, this one was one that I didn't even remember.
Yeah, it's fine for what it is. I feel like the production on this song specifically is like one of the worst.
Ringo kind of like, I feel like a lot of Ringo's songs are pretty like hit or miss across the board in like the Beatles and solo career, except like with a little help from my friends.
That's Ringo?
Yeah, the what would you think if that shit, that's him.
I didn't know that.
It's Billy Shears.
Holy shit.
Then
Octopus's Garden.
That song.
That might be my favorite Beatles song of all time.
It is probably in my opinion, the song of the summer for years, in my opinion. I love that song. I want to make memories to that song.
Yeah,
it's weird. Like it's just so happy and warm.
Great.
But we're not talking about that.
No. We're talking about Don't Pass Me By on the Beatles' 1968 album, the White Album.
Here at the Family Album. No, but this song is really unmemorable. Like I don't think I could tell you like a single thing about this song.
I mean, it's interesting, like musically wise. Actually not even really. It's more like a kind of like a country kind of blues take on that style.
And that became Ringo's entire shtick for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
Until now. Now he makes some pretty interesting little rock.
And MS Paint art.
Yeah. He does do that sometimes.
Guys, when you're done listening to this episode, go on Google Images, look up Ringo Starr, the Hat Man. You will not be disappointed.
I love... on every single video he has on his Instagram, he's like, peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. Like, it's just how he talks. But yeah, I don't have anything to say about it. I barely remember it.
Nah, it's just kind of poorly mixed. Like, there's a lot of just stuff going on in the background. It kind of overtakes his vocals, which is a shame. But it's fine for what it is, I guess.
I mean, you got to represent Ringo somehow. He wasn't exactly known as the vocalist of the Beatles.
Yeah,
either.
he was there.
He was there. He was in fact there. He honestly just loved being around everybody. He never had any qualms with a single person.
Until he decided to just like leave during the production of this album for a little bit.
He also randomly said in one time in like a newspaper that when he was like 16, that people over the age of 60 should be shot.
Now this kid's got some ideas.
And then Conan later on was like, how old are you now? And he goes, time to be shot. That was like I think like the early 2000s, 1990s, like somewhere in that range, like early-ish Conan, like before it was like the new Conan that like everybody comes to know now.
Yeah.
That was like Tonight Show Conan.
Oh shit.
So, but yeah, honestly though, hey, whatever, represent Ringo. We love Ringo at the Family Album.
Exactly. We stand Ringo.
We really, really do. Richard Starkey, we love you.
Matt, why don't we do it on the road?
I never thought you'd ever ask. I actually, this is weird, but this is one of my favorite tracks.
Really?
I know it's so weird because it's so repetitive and it says the same fucking thing
over and over.
But I think the guitar kind of fucks. And I love just his like, why did we do it in the road? Like it just like it's so like.
I mean, it's a shitpost song.
It really is
through and through. The guitar is very nice. I like the percussion on there and the bass line. The bass line is very sexy. You know,
it kind of reminds me of like it almost sounds like a bare bones version of "I Got a Feeling" off of "Let It Be," one of their later songs.
I don't think I've heard that one.
I actually really "Let It Be" might be my favorite Beatles album.
Interesting.
It's their last like
official studio album.
Yeah. And like they also have like that version, the studio version, and the naked version.
Okay.
Which both worth a listen. The Get Back documentary covers like all of it, all of the making of "Let It Be" and little like. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. These little bits, these little segments of other known Beatles songs that were in the works during the Let It Be production. Like it's a documentary that's really, really, really dense because each episode is like
2 hours, right?
Yeah. Peter Jackson, holy shit, man. But it's worth the watch.
I gotta watch it. I like people told me I should watch it when it was coming out, but I never really listened to the Beatles, so I never gave it a try.
My recommendation: watch it early in the day.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
You don't like this is not like a late night movie watch.
Yeah, this is just something to appreciate and be cognizant for.
You could watch all three in one day. I highly would not advise that.
Yeah,
I separated it across 3 days. Made my life so much easier. But yeah, no, it's great. And
it's about monkeys having sex, so you know, not Get Back. Why don't we do it on the road?
I didn't even know that part about the song.
Yeah,
I think it's fun.
It is.
Why don't we do it in the road?
Paul wrote this because I think when they were on the retreat with Maharishi, he would always notice just monkeys just having sex in the road, and was like, "What if people did that?"
What if people did that?
I know. Guys, what if people did that?
Just close your eyes and imagine a world.
5 Gum.
Oh, man. Anywho, please sponsor us 5 Gum. But anyway.
Next up, we have I Will, one of my favorites from this album.
This is one of my playlist ones. And honestly, so is Why Don't Do It in the Road. But like this, I Will, it's such a sweet song.
Man. It's short and sweet is like the perfect way to put it. It's a very like stripped back acoustic ballad of just Paul just saying these really sweet things.
I love whatever the drum beat just again sounds like somebody like tapping their foot.
Yeah,
like
it's very minimal and subtle, but it works very well.
I don't know why. Also the guitar when it goes like dun, 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 like that shit, like something about that. I don't know.
It scratches an itch, you know.
It does.
It's very very nice.
It really does it in the road, if you will.
Yeah. One might say.
But it is a very pleasant song. It's just a nice, sweet, like, love song. I find that a lot of Paul's, like, him and, like, guitar, like, little, like, ballads, they're all just iconic.
Yeah, man.
They all just do really well, and they all just sound amazing. Like, Yesterday, this song. Blackbird, like... So many of these fucking songs. He even ends Abbey Road with Your Majesty's a pretty nice girl. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You like that Paul McCartney.
Sound like Bob Dylan a little bit.
Your Majesty's a pretty nice girl. Oh man. But yeah, I like this song a lot. This is a constant playback.
Yeah, man, I agree. Just makes me feel all warm and fuzzy.
Exactly.
Next up, we have Julia. This is, I guess, kind of John Lennon's version of I Will.
Essentially. I think it's a good song. I never added it to my playlist, and it wasn't like a re-listen, to be honest with you. But I think it's a sweet song for the most part.
It's a nice like dedication to both his mother, who passed away at the time, and Yoko. Yeah. Which it's very sweet.
He does write some really sweet songs about Yoko. He even has a song that's called Oh Yoko that he wrote later on. And it's kind of, it's silly, but it's sweet.
That's nice.
I think that's kind of one of the ways that he tried to be, even though like it very much contradicted his lifestyle behind the scenes. So, it's an okay, like little sweet song. I never, again, this wasn't one that I listened to a lot.
I agree.
But I think, especially after one as iconic as I Will, it's really hard to follow that.
That's true.
Who knows how much I love you?
I don't.
Exactly. But,
you tell me.
No, Julia, I got nothing.
Yeah. But happy birthday, Matt.
Thank you very much. You're like a few months late. more than a few months.
Can you just appreciate my fucking gestures, dude?
Listen, man, just get the date right, okay? Like,
no.
What are you? Some kind of a
Yer Blues.
I was gonna be like, what are you? What? I was gonna be like, what are you? Some kind of a Prudence?
Big callback.
All right, come out to play, AJ. Let me see what you got, man.
No.
Like, well, obla di obla die,
Dude,
guys.
I have this glass onion I gotta fucking eat before the day is over, so just like, be cool. Anyway, Birthday's the next song.
We did not nuance any of that.
No,
well.
that was pretty fucking bad.
It's okay.
Guys, if you tuned out, don't.
Please keep listening. I promise it gets better. Birthday, I actually like this one.
Yeah.
It's like it's Beatles.
True. This is truly a Beatles song.
Like, I feel like it's almost like an ode to their older stuff, if that makes sense.
Yeah, this does sound very early Beatles. It's a catchy riff. I like the lyrics too. You know, their interpretation of Happy Birthday.
Yeah.
The bridge is also really nice. I like that part a lot.
I think the guitars fuck actually pretty hard on this song.
They are very good.
So,
like the distortion on there especially is really nice.
Yeah, I agree. But again, like, I don't know, something about, like, I didn't really want to put this on my Beatles playlist because, like...
Yeah, it's not really, like, anything special.
Also, I don't really like the idea of, like, oh, it's a birthday song, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I feel like when you attach, like, a holiday to it...
That gives it some sort of significance, you know?
It's got to go into a holiday playlist, okay?
It's not my birthday every day.
Unless it's the song, Do They Know It's Christmas?
Okay.
I could listen to that any time of year. Me and Tom Murphy, in fact, have had like these long ass discussions about it.
Nice.
That song fucks.
Stay tuned. Tom Murphy will be coming back real soon.
He will be. But Birthday, it's a good song. Just not one I'm gonna be like, yeah.
Nah.
Throw on the one about the birthday, Charlie.
But Frank, it's not your birthday.
I don't give a shit, Charlie.
The Beatles say it is.
I have a glass onion in hand. I'm bleeding. I'm foaming at
Frank,
the mouth.
I told you gotta stop eating the glass onions.
I love that show so much.
Always Sunny's so fucking... Matt's like watching it through the first time.
I'm on season 5. I've been tearing through it for the last month. And I've just been like tearing through all the episodes, and oh god, it's fucking amazing.
It's a great fucking show, man. My favorite of all time. I love it.
I cannot wait to keep going. But White Album, next track, Yer Blues. Is correct.
Yeah.
I don't even think I can recall anything from this song.
Yeah, I mean, the lyrics I wrote down were very accurate and sad, and then I said, sorry, John.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's just kind of like your standard blues number. I was kind of just like, the Beatles like, hey, what if we did blues? And that's basically what you get on this track. It's fine enough as is, it's just not that memorable.
There is another song that they do. It's a blues song. It's off of Let It Be, I believe. It's called For You Blue.
Okay.
And that song fucks.
Nice.
It's so good. I might have to bring Let It Be to you at some time later in the future.
I'm down.
But yeah, stay tuned for that, guys. But yeah, Yer Blues, I got nothing for you, my man.
There's some like cool time meter switches towards the end. I think it switches to 6/8. They mention worms a lot, and that's a big thing for me. I'm a big worm guy.
Yeah, he's a wormer. You know what I mean? Like it's a
huge wormer over here.
He's a worm monger. He actually grows worms in his backyard.
I do, and I sell them illegally on the black market.
They go for a high price.
They do. So if you're like down, just email me at wormlover82 at yahoo.mail.
Do you know how hard it is to get an Alaskan bullworm?
Those things don't go down easy, let me tell you.
I kind of said that like Frank Reynolds.
Alaskan bullworm.
Do you know how, Charlie, do you know how hard it is to get an Alaskan bullworm?
Frank, we gotta move on to the next track.
Charlie, give him to me. No, but yeah, Yer Blues is just kind of another just...
Yeah, kind of a whatever.
Exactly.
And I kind of feel the way about this next song.
Really?
Mother Nature's Son.
I actually kind of like this one.
I mean, it's not bad, but it just doesn't really do much for me.
It's not on my playlist, but I think... I actually found this one to be kind of powerful in a weird way.
Okay.
I don't know why. I think it was just the instrumental. Something about it for me kind of clicked.
I mean, it is very nice. I mean, a Paul acoustic song, you can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong whatsoever.
I like that he's kind of using a big bass drum, and it's just like, it sounds like a marching band. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
And the horn breaks are very good after the lyrics. I like that. But I just couldn't really remember much else about it, though.
That's fair. That's fair. I like the part when he talks about like the grass.
Okay.
I don't know why. I can just imagine like an open field, the daisies.
And Paul laying down, spread eagle, playing the song,
making little grass angels in the grass. But anyway, yeah. Honestly, I understand. It is kind of.
Yeah,
it's filler. I feel like this is sort of the album filler. If
not
that makes
bad
sense.
filler, but
not bad filler, but could be better filler.
Yeah.
But
this next track, not filler in the slightest.
Everybody's got something to hide except
Me and My Monkey.
I genuinely like this song. Never made it onto my playlist.
Mm-hmm.
I barely remember it whatsoever.
This song's just kind of goofy, man.
Yeah. From what I'm trying to recall the lyrics, I genuinely.
They say "come on" a lot.
I see that.
It has monkey in the title, man. Like, what else do you need?
Re-listen to it real fast. Come on. Come on. No, but anyway, yeah, I don't know. This is like, in my opinion, there's like a bit of a lull in the White Album.
Yeah,
and
side 2 is definitely weaker than side 1.
But then there's some on side 2 that do rip, like in a few. Actually, literally this next one, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, this, I feel like there is a bit of a lull, and then it gets cool, and then it gets really weird.
Yeah.
So it's, hey, you know.
Beatles.
But this is kind of, in my opinion, kind of a nothing song.
I kind of like, I mean, I can see where you're coming from. I like the style of guitar. It's very crunchy and distorted. Also, there's like a ringing bell that happens that goes on throughout, which is nice. Adds a bit of a percussive flair. And I like Lennon's vocal delivery too. It's very, very grovelly and growly. It's neat. And it's all about how he's frustrated with people like making so much about him and Yoko Ono and how like she's going to ruin the band.
You know, maybe instead of people making speculation all the time, they should have just listened to what they were saying.
Exactly.
It's so funny how the media is. But anyway, this next track is kind of the beginning of like the few that I really, really like off this album. Not the beginning, because I liked a few in the before. But Sexy Sadie,
yeah,
it kind of fucks.
This is cool.
I like this one. Something about it is like...
It's very groovy.
It is.
Yeah.
It is very groovy.
I kind of wrote down it's like proto David Bowie. It gave me like kind of Ziggy Aladdin Sane era Bowie vibes.
I can kind of see that. Yeah, I would have killed to hear a David Bowie cover of this.
I know.
He probably did it at one of his concerts.
He would have fucking killed it if he did.
Every artist did the Beatles at one point.
That's true.
Especially in the 80s, I feel like. But like, yeah, no, this song's pretty cool. Honestly, it's just a straightforward, pretty good song.
Yeah.
Fan of the guitars on this.
The guitars are very nice. I had also just kind of like the syncopation of all the lyrics, and the delivery is really nice.
Yeah, no, for sure. I do like the lyrics on this one a lot. Also, it just rolls off the tongue well, alliteratively. Sexy Sadie, yeah. It's cool.
So this is about Maharishi, the guru. He made an inappropriate pass at one of John Lennon's friends. So this is all about him kind of like, I guess, kind of the image of the Maharishi kind of like shattering a little bit and just kind of calling him out on that.
I see.
Which is pretty cool.
Interesting. Nobody's safe, I guess, on this album.
Exactly.
Fucking Bungalow Bill.
Bungalow Bill, your time is fucking come, dude.
Dude, it's over for you.
Who did you kill? We know.
We fucking know. We're coming for your ass.
Anyway, next up is Helter Skelter.
This song is probably one of my favorite Beatles songs of all time.
And it sounds nothing like the Beatles.
Okay, so I've been told that, so it's been debated, obviously, who pioneered metal.
Led Zeppelin is mine, I think.
A lot of people say Led Zeppelin. Paul one time in this interview said that he thinks that this song low-key pioneered metal.
I mean, it's a metal song, yeah.
It is, and it fucks.
It's really good.
It's so good.
I love the delivery of the verse lyrics. They're so fucking good.
Don't you want me to love you? Like it's, oh, dude, and like Ringo,
yeah,
he needed a fucking raise for this shit.
He's got blisters on his fingers.
I got blisters. Oh, dude, oh man. God, like, holy shit. Everybody, I feel like, in this song just worked their asses off.
Yeah, dude, they're pulling their weight. It's so fucking good.
The rough tapes of this, by the way, on the anthology albums are fucking crazy.
I can imagine.
They have outtakes of this on, like, some of the extended versions of, like, their other albums, because some of the extended versions of songs made it onto, like, other it's a whole thing. But, some of the outtakes of the song are just insane because like some of them Paul goes even higher than what he's like singing here.
Damn, dude,
it's insane. Like this man had so much fucking energy and it's the craziest thing ever. But like this song also has a bit of a history with it.
Yeah.
So
Charles Manson.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. So the debate is that Charles Manson was inspired to do a lot of things because of this
song,
which I don't know if that's exactly true. It's a speculation.
I mean, the Beatles say they had no intention of.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Of course not. So I think there's kind of like yes, this song rips, but then like when you
associate it, yeah,
it's hard because like a lot of here's the problem. A lot of the artists in the 60s just kind of knew each other.
Yeah.
And like
Charles Manson worked with the Beach Boys.
He did. He literally wrote a song for the Beach Boys and specifically
Dennis Wilson.
Yeah. Dennis Wilson and Charles Manson were indeed friends. And I mean,
that's a whole can of worms.
The shit that's around this song is wild, but the song for what it is
fucking great.
It is really good.
It's incredible.
And it's a shame that it's associated with such a controversial thing because it is so fucking awesome. Like also Helter Skelter, isn't that just a British term for like
it's like an amusement park ride?
Okay.
It's like this tower that has like a slide that goes all the way around it.
Yeah. I think I've also seen it be used as like a term for like going crazy.
Yeah.
Like he's going all Helter Skelter. Oh, hey laddie. Oi laddie, he's going all Helter Skelter.
Hide your biscuits, Mum, he's going Helter Skelter, bruv.
It's like it sounds like the part in the one SpongeBob episode. It's like, that's right, laddie, you're in me locker, and then Daydream Believer starts like playing.
Oh yeah, Davy Jones.
And then the Flying Dutchman's just like,
Davy Jones.
That's right, laddie, you're me locker. Oh man, I love the random like SpongeBob references into like the past.
Yeah,
for no reason.
They're good.
They are really good.
The perfume department.
Yeah, that is a pretty good joke. I appreciate that one a lot. But yeah, Helter Skelter.
Highlight. Very good.
Highlight indeed.
Now move on to one that I'm not super huge on.
I'm also not super huge on this one. This is not one that made it onto my playlist. It's called Long, Long, Long. It's all right. I'm not a big fan of the instrumental overall of this one.
Yeah.
Something about it just kind of feels a little off, if that makes sense.
I gotcha.
Like, I don't know exactly like what it is though. Like it's something about it it almost feels like too dry.
I mean,
sense.
It's
like,
interesting because it's a bit of a shuffle but not like a big backbeat.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's another like George Harrison acoustic piece, which is appreciated, but it's just like not his best.
Yeah, of course. I mean, hey, this man, every single song that like was his on the Beatles, it was just banger after banger after banger. So I mean, hey, you can't
have
be
one.
I know John and Paul surely have ones that are like, oh Jesus Christ. So I mean, yeah, this one's fine.
Not bad, but he can do better.
I just feel like there's not a lot of substance in this one. That's what I meant by dry.
Gotcha.
Like especially like kind of lyrically, you know what I mean? So long, long, long.
A little too long, if you ask me.
Now this next song, I forget if like the Revolution, because this one song is called Revolution 1.
Yeah.
And it is either a cover of their first Revolution one or it's like the first. I don't remember. Maybe if it's Revolution 1.
There's something about this. I read something about it, but I don't remember what exactly it was.
Because the one Revolution, the and then like Paul McCartney screams. That's like the iconic, like you say you want a revolution, like that one. This one is more of a like laid back, chill, like has some saxophones.
A bit of a blues kind of feel, yeah.
And it's kind of nice, I will say. Like,
I love this one.
I will not knock it for what it is. Like, I love the lyrics.
Yeah.
I think this is one of John's finest in terms of like his social justice sort of like. So I will give the lyrics credit where credit is due. I guess put it in the description of like which one came first.
Yeah.
But whether this was the cover or the other one was the cover, because I'm not sure which one came
first.
So I'm pretty sure the other Revolution also came on a collection.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. So, yeah.
But yeah, this is a really great track overall. I like the instrumental a lot. The horn section is great. Accenting the hits on the Count Me Out lyric is also I love me some syncopated and accented hits.
You can count me out. Like something about that is just like, it scratched an itch.
It hits, man.
I also just love the, you know it's gonna be all right. Like something about that is just like, everything about this song and just the way that the song like was made and written and like structured, it works in both the well-known way and this way.
Yeah, man.
So it's a pretty good track if you ask me. I agree.
I like it a lot.
Now this next track, The Good Honey Pie.
Yes.
I really like this track. It's one of it's one of Paul's granny tunes.
Yeah.
As John said.
A tribute to his dad because this was the kind of music his dad liked a lot.
And honestly, it's very sweet and I love it. And I just love the sort
style.
of like, Paul just loved dipping into like this sort of like weird, like
this retro for the time.
Yeah.
Back to like the 30s or 40s, I want to say, of like crooner singer-songwriter songs.
Yeah, because sort of like the weird like crooner orchestral sort of like
ballads.
Yeah. Like you see this a lot in this song. You see this in other songs, kind of like When I'm 64.
Yeah.
That's a huge one that everybody always like points to on Sgt. Pepper.
Yeah, but he's doing like this old-timey voice with this kind of like, not like ragtime feel, but like this just like old kind of feeling.
He
Instrumental.
I also love the way he like did. He's like, my honey pie. Like,
Yeah.
he's just like this. It's nice. Like, you know, he just kind of
Cool
just like,
inflections.
he has a lot of versatility with his voice.
Yeah, man.
Where I feel like George had the most control, Paul had the most variety.
Okay.
And it was pretty fucking dope.
Yeah, man.
And John
Was there.
he screeched a lot. And then Ringo was just kind of like,
I guess I'll sing.
I'd like to be. But yeah, Honey Pie is just a sweet song.
Got a nice guitar solo.
I'm a fan.
Yeah. Moving on, we have one of the best songs on the album.
Really?
I really like this one a lot.
I like Savoy Truffle, but that's quite a claim. Wow.
I
okay.
like it. I really do. It's about Eric Clapton's chocolate addiction,
I did not know that.
which is really funny. So it's basically just George Harrison making fun of him because he has to go to the dentist to get his teeth out.
I love the way it's just like da-da-da-da-da,
Yep.
like something about that is just like so.
It's like proto funk.
Yeah.
Because like the horn section fucking rules. The guitar work is great. I love the delivery of the lyrics when he's kind of like reading out the names on the chocolate box. I forget what it is. Chantez les mots. Like I just love that like delivery so much.
Yeah, no, it's a fine one. I didn't even know this was George.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I believe this is George Harrison.
That's pretty good. Yeah, no, it is a good track, and this was a playlister. I put this one on my playlist for sure, but I did not. This wasn't a go-to, but if it came on, I'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, you know what? A little Savoy Truffle. You know what I mean?
I think it's just because like I'm a big funk guy, so just like hearing the Beatles kind of go in that direction just like really stood out to me. It also kind of reminds me of the song Monkey, like the horns at least, remind me of the Monkey in Your Soul by Steely Dan.
Fair enough.
Which I like a lot.
It does kind of low-key sound like a little bit of like stripped down Steely Dan.
Yeah.
A bit more compressed, I should say, Steely Dan.
A little dirty.
Yeah, a little Savoy.
A dirty Dan.
Little little Savoy Steely Dan. I don't know what that voice is. But no, I'm a fan. I like it.
It's good. Next up, we have Cry Baby Cry.
I kind of don't feel anything about this track.
I agree.
I listened to it this morning and like, again, not very memorable in my opinion. It just kind of like...
It's fine.
Yeah.
Like as most of these songs are that aren't really like standouts. They're solid.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Solid.
But like when there's so much competition on this album, it's like tough to like have all of them be bangers.
For sure. Absolutely. I think that for what it's worth, like... Maybe if it was like released on something else, it might have done all right. But it's just kind of...
Yeah, it's like a cool idea because it's built around this like nursery rhyme kind of structure in like each verse. And then there's like a weird thing at the end where it's Paul's outro for a song he was writing that they just kind of like splice together at the end, which is a weird choice, but you know.
Yeah. Out
of the two songs that involve the words Cry Baby we've reviewed on this show, this is definitely the better one in my opinion.
Interesting. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I know Elizabeth would be like, what? So, I mean...
Yeah. Elizabeth, Smelly Fartinez.
Got him. You fucking got him. So go on, cry, baby, cry. No, but anyway. That was mean. We love you, Elizabeth. Please come back.
We do love you, Elizabeth.
But yeah, not much to say about this one on my part, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I got really nothing else. But now we move on.
You know, so it's kind of funny. Like, this next track, Revolution 9,
Notorious.
It is equally one of the weirdest and one of the most well-known Beatles tracks of all time. I think it kind of fell into this weird, like, absurdist sort of like...
experiment.
Yeah.
It's musique concrète is, I believe, the term for it.
Okay.
Where it's kind of like, instead of like the normal song structure, it's kind of creating a soundscape based off sounds and like minuscule instrument, like instrumentals, I guess. I should probably look up the definition beforehand, so I'm just kind of shooting at my ass right now.
Fair enough.
But you know, Cheeky Bitch, a great way to open up this song.
Yeah, no, it's so weird. I feel like So the Beatles, I can say for the record, loved to experiment with all sorts of sound. Sound was like the biggest thing to them. Like, and how they could make things as like
manipulate it.
So out of the norm as they possibly can. It genuinely that was like their goal, I feel like, with a lot of their songs. Yeah. And I feel like if they could have, and if the record label would have permitted them, they would have made the entire album like this. Theoretically, I feel like they fucking would have.
You definitely hear hints in there, like Wild Honey Pie, even stuff maybe like Bungalow Bill, where it's just like very kind of like goofy, off the wall shit you wouldn't expect them to make.
Of course. What's fun about this one is that they're using like tape recorders and like rewound tapes and stuff like that. So it's like they're just playing it over and over on like a loop.
Number 9.
Like speeding it up and slowing it down.
Yeah, they have like a whole sound library they're sampling.
As much as you want to give them hell, like, oh, this sounds fucking horrible. Like,
which, you know,
I mean, it's
not great.
I wouldn't like, again, you're not going to be like, hey, play the one number not, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, for what it's worth, it's kind of impressive they were able to manipulate all that shit.
It's commendable. And for 8 minutes especially. Like John Lennon, I believe, for this song, he wanted to make kind of the musical personification of a revolution, kind of like personify that idea, which, you know, I can't really get that from this. It just kind of sounds like noise.
Of course.
But especially the part when there's just some dude in the background, you know?
You know, as we all tend to do.
Exactly, but this goes on for way too fucking long.
That sounded like Courage the Cowardly Dog.
That's pretty good.
Thank you very much.
I love that show.
Dude, it fucked. I love that show so much. But yeah, I mean, it's a weird, like, notorious, iconic track. Yeah. But I don't think people are going to be like, yeah.
You have an appreciation for it, but it's, honestly, I might just skip it every time I listen to this album.
Of course. I mean, why would you endure that? It's a great first time listen to see if anything happens. Yeah. Nothing really happens. Yeah. And then you move on to Good Night.
Yep. This is a very good closer for this album. Very sweet. Purely orchestral, and I believe it's sampled.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's sampled. I think I remember reading that as well.
Mm-hmm. And it's Ringo doing it, which is a very nice touch.
So he does come back. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I
don't know if he wrote this song, but he does sing again on this track.
Hey, it's good enough for me, AJ.
Exactly. I could always use some more Ringo in my life.
Some more Richard Starkey. But yeah, it's just kind of a nice little song. Just time to say goodnight.
A good send-off.
Yeah, like Ringo always sang the really sweet songs in the Beatles. He just always talked about friendship and pleasant feelings.
And octopi.
Yeah. What more can you want?
Yeah, the Holy Trinity.
If you will. But yeah, I mean, I think the instrumentation is very nice. I think they sampled it pretty good. Yeah. And
fits the tone very well.
Yeah, and it's just a nice closer, especially given the fact of like people might think it's kind of choppy, but at the same time, to have like a random like orchestral like.
Yeah, but I mean, this whole album is totally all over the place.
Exactly.
So that's why it fits.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of an amalgamation of like early sampling techniques with like tapes. Yeah. Which is kind of admirable when you really think about it. So, I mean, hey, it's better than repeating the same, no one's ever going to stop us now.
That's true.
On a launch pad about 17 times.
Yeah, Nate. What are you doing back? Dude, get the fuck out.
We told you to leave.
What the fuck?
I don't give a shit how young you are. Get the fuck out of here.
We are so sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully this won't happen again, but
we keep trying. Listen, he's just having a bad day, all right? He keeps just being like, but I look so young. It's like, no,
my nephew.
You're 40. You're 40. Get the fuck out of here. So listen, it's just how it is.
We'll deal with it.
You heard Ringo. People over the no,
peace and love.
No, but honestly though, it's Good Night is good.
It is good. Very good closer.
It's a good closer. Very solid.
Speaking of closers, Matt, what are your final thoughts on the White Album?
So the White Album definitely grew on me for sure. I used to really think that it was just an amalgamation of just nonsense. Yeah. With some like surprisingly good tracks that were just like, kind of weaved in and you had to really search for them. Mm-hmm. But when now that I've like kind of gotten a bit older and I've been a little bit in the production scene, you got to appreciate the amount of shit that they did on this album, given like the limited amount of like flexibility their technology was offering. I mean, they had an entire team of people to help them out in the studio of theirs, but like And of course, the fifth Beatle, George Martin.
Yeah, that's his name, I believe. Yeah.
George Martin, I believe.
But yeah, you're right. I believe it is George Martin.
George Martin. By the way, he has an entire like cover album of all these Beatles songs,
cool.
but they're orchestral.
That's
and
cool.
It's dope. High key, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary pals. High key recommend listening to that. It's honestly pretty worthwhile.
Cool.
But this album, the White Album from 1968, I feel like honestly it is worth a listen when you really just kind of take a look at what like modern production is now. Mm-hmm. If you really have an appreciate for production, I feel like it's a very fun album because it really just showed the fact that like, yes, it is a shitpost, but to make
it's an album shitpost.
To make an album sound that weird, you gotta like really fucking try to have an understanding of what you got.
Exactly.
And they didn't have much in 1968, ladies and gentlemen.
And they made it fucking work.
Yeah. Thomas Edison only granted so much at that point. I mean, he was
on his deathbed.
He was leagues before this shit. But at the same time, you know, it's just, you gotta admit, it's kind of impressive that they could even make shit like Revolution 9.
Yeah.
So as much as I used to not like this album, it grew on me upon this recent re-listen. And honestly, I gotta say, I gotta give it a solid like A-.
Nice.
Like, and probably a 9. Yeah, a 9. Cool. A Revolution 9, if you will.
What happened to Tooth or Rape, by the way?
I have no fucking idea.
Fair enough.
I would ask, let's see who's still alive.
Ringo and Paul.
Yeah, I would ask Ringo and Paul.
All right, I'll speak to them tonight.
Please do.
Avid family album listeners, Ringo Starr and Paul McCartney.
Thank you for listening.
But yeah, I think overall final thoughts, I do really enjoy this album. Was not expecting to like it as much as I did, but all these tracks are just really fucking great. I can definitely appreciate the risks that they took and the experiments that they tried, because most of them pay off, and even the ones that don't, I still feel like have merit listening to them, because, you know, you get appreciation for the production and just like kind of the atmosphere they were writing these songs in at the time. Tonally, it's all over the place, but I feel like that adds to the charm, because they were specifically trying to focus on one genre per song, just in order to keep it more interesting and disjointed, because that's how they were feeling at the time.
Of course.
But the instrumentation is fucking great all throughout. The horns, the strings, and just the four Beatles in general do a great job. Overall, I'm going to give this an A- as well, and I think maybe like an 8.9.
Respect.
Enjoyed it quite a lot.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot more in this recent re-listen. I used to not like this album, so the fact it made it to A-, I was like, you know what?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's my favorite Beatles album, even though I'll listen to 2. I think I like it more than Abbey Road.
I think if you're looking at it in terms of this being your favorite, then there are going to be a couple of ones that, like, if you dove like into the older repertoire.
Yeah, I want to listen to Sgt. Pepper's. Now that I have access to the mono mixes, I think I will do that, because the Spotify version I was not a fan of.
It's fun. Sgt. Pepper is definitely fun. I think there are gonna be a few tracks that you are gonna enjoy.
Yeah,
it's kind of a weird early take on disco they got.
Okay,
called Good Morning.
All right,
it's weird. There's like a weird like drum beat that's like really happening.
Cool.
So it'll be fun.
Sweet. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the White Album by the Beatles. But you know how the show works. We have 2 albums we have to discuss this week. And next up, we have Meet the Residents by the Residents.
AJ.
Yeah?
I have never listened to avant-garde music before. Like, properly, actively listen to avant-garde music before. And holy shit, I had no idea what to expect with this album. I was expecting just like, I don't know, some like crude band in the 70s being like, we're here, we're not the Beatles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No. Oh my God.
3 for a loop.
Yeah.
I tried to keep you in the dark about this album as much as I could.
Even the cover, like, it somehow matches the entire tone.
Like the energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. If for those who don't know, it's a parody of Meet the Beatles, but they graffitied all over all the members' faces to make them have like funny faces.
Yeah. And like, it did very much make me want to research more about them, which was pretty dope.
Nice.
So I'm excited to start talking about them, because this is quite a journey. I can tell you that much.
The Residents are a very interesting band. One that I actually saw live pretty recently.
You saw them live?
I saw them live last month.
Holy shit, what did they look like?
So usually their go-to garb is like black suit and tie, and then like a giant eyeball head around their heads, and like a top hat on top of it. Because the gimmick of the band is they've never shown their actual faces or revealed their identities. It's like highly speculated about like who they are like throughout their entire career, but they've never ever showed their faces. They appreciate the anonymity of the profession.
Since 1974?
Yep.
3? 4?
Well, they've been doing it, I think, since the 60s, but this is their first debut album was in 74.
Wow. That's insane.
Yeah, man.
Do you want to give a little bit of a history before we dive in?
Sure. So this album, Meet the Residents, was released April Fool's Day of 1974.
That makes a lot of sense.
On Ralph Records, which is their own record label.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. The Residents formed in 1965. They were a group of high school friends that formed the band in Shreveport, Louisiana, where they became an art collective dabbling in all aspects of the art field.
Okay.
I don't really know. I guess their main goal was just kind of make music that you never would hear. They've been compared to kind of Frank Zappa and Captain Beefheart, just making this really inaccessible, weird music, but it's definitely something to appreciate.
I did read something about Captain Beefheart, like influence almost, like, or kind of sounding comparison on the wiki.
That's going to be a future episode.
Oh, I can't wait. I've heard a lot of things about...
Trout Mask Replica?
Yes. I've heard a lot of things about it. So I don't know anything about Captain Beefheart. Oh, he's laughing, ladies and gentlemen. That's not good.
Oh, that's going to be a fun episode, man.
That's not good if he's laughing. But yeah, this album is just a whirlwind, but let's just dive in. I'll share my thoughts.
Starting off, we have Boots, which is a quote-unquote cover of the Nancy Sinatra song, These Boots Were Made for Walking.
1 through 6, according to the wiki, are actually like a skeleton.
Medley.
It's like a skeleton cover of like... I think that song. That's what it said on the wiki. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know if it's like every song. Definitely the first one.
Okay.
But the first 6 songs make up this like whole melody that bleeds into each other. I don't know if it's all based on Nancy Sinatra, but hey, I'm not the biggest Residents fan. I like them. I've only listened to 3 of their albums though.
Fair enough. You sat through 3 of these. So wait, hold on. Oh my god.
Yeah. I own one, a CD. I know, not available.
You know what? All the power to you, AJ. Honestly.
Thanks, man. I also want to talk about my live experience a little later.
Okay.
Because it was very interesting.
I could only imagine. So this first track, Boots, the first thing I wrote was, oh, this sounds really scary. And then I actually recognized the fact that it was a Nancy Sinatra song. But I could not name the song. And I also did not care enough to look it up later.
That's fair.
These Boots Are Made for Walking. That is the name.
Cover. It's a very loose cover.
Loose is definitely...
Basically, they sing the chorus once in this very goofy voice that sounds like this. Yeah. And then they just repeat the very last line of the chorus over and over again for about like a minute as you hear this like distorted piano and like bells a little bit in the background.
It's all like vocalizing. They're going like ba bum ba bum.
Yeah. I love like right at the beginning when they say the first lyric, there's just that crunchy horn section that's so out of tune that plays right after it.
Walk all over you.
Exactly.
Yeah. I had no idea what to make of this whatsoever. But hey, listen, all the first 6 tracks are all like 2 minutes most.
Yeah.
And like most of them are like a minute 40 kind of runtime.
Yeah.
Minute 45, like in that range. So not a lot to say.
Yeah, there's not like really too much. I will say throughout this whole album, you can just hear room tone the entire time.
Yeah, I did. It has this really unsettling kind of like.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's almost like a snuff film as an album.
Yeah,
it's a really interesting experience.
It really is, and especially since you don't get to the actual like song portions until like
basically side 2.
Yeah. So it's wild. Having this on vinyl must be such a fucking surprise.
I know.
Imagine being gifted this.
I would love it.
Fair enough. But Numb Erone?
Numb Erone, I'm going to say that.
This one kind of fucks.
Right?
Like out of nowhere, there is like a little beat.
Yeah, you have the fucking Guero in there.
I kind of want to I almost want to play this.
Yeah.
Something about this, like, I don't know.
It's got that like toy piano kind of sound effect. It sounds kind of like a dance almost.
It's crunchy.
Yeah, it is very crunchy.
There is a dance later in the song. There's a tango, if you will.
I fucking love that
and
song.
I'm so fucking excited to talk about it. Again, I kind of was like, oh, I kind of want to play this.
Yeah.
And then it just fucking changes.
Yep.
Like midway through. Like it changed the rhythm entirely.
Yeah, this album is very much keeps you on your toes. Like right when you start getting comfortable, it'll just like sweep the rug right from under you. That's kind of the whole point.
And then it goes from like this polyphonic like texture because like they operate on all these weird like time signatures like all the time, and they constantly change.
Yep.
Like you could tell that there is like a bit of like a flow once they get in the groove, but then they'll just stop it and change to something else like, immediately, and it's abrupt. Like it's not like it's like there's a nice, like, no, it is abrupt.
Yeah, I mean here it's not as egregious because there's like a gradual slowdown, but even still, it's very jarring after hearing it for like about like 40 seconds.
That is true. It goes from like this polyphonic texture to like harmonic texture, and then it seamlessly transitions into this next track, because I kind of want to get this through because I have a lot to say about like side 2. So Guylum Bardot.
I believe so, yeah. The first Residence original lyrics we have.
It's got this odd like jazzy...
weird horn section.
And I still don't really know what to make of it, to be honest with you.
It is very creepy.
The voice they're doing is just like...
What's that?
It's so weird. And like the horns sound like they're just in another song.
Yeah.
That's what I love about a lot of the instruments on this. Like there's this one that's later where it's like kind of like this bass riff, this kind of bass guitar riff, and then the horns are just in their completely different world. It's so fucking funny. But the lyrics are just like
my sweet Fatonia. Rainbow today.
It's fucking wild.
It is very weird. But it's neat. I like there's a cello on this song, I think.
It sounds like
there's kind of like running through, ever adding this creepy ambiance to the whole thing.
It's so weird. Like I would love someone to make a short film. I'm sure somebody has.
They've definitely made short films in their experience, and also thanks to my friend Evan, I learned that they scored a documentary about the author Thomas Pynchon.
Really?
Yeah, it's one of the worst documentaries he's ever seen, apparently.
I see. I can't imagine any scoring that these guys would have done would have been entirely palatable for however long that endured.
Yeah. Music wasn't really the issue. It was more so the content. But the Residents, I'm sure, didn't help.
I'm more than positive. I feel like because I listened to this really late at night by myself.
Yeah.
In kind of a dark room. And I was like, oh God.
Uneasy vibes.
I'm going to die. If someone got like high to this,
they'd be fucking dunzo.
They'd piss their pants. Like this is insane. But this Guylum Bardot again seamlessly transitions in track 4, Breath and Length.
This one's fucking goofy. I love it.
I legit, the first thing I wrote was, this is just terrible. But I mean, hey, whatever. It's terrible, but I appreciate it for what it's worth as a whole. Because I'll give it a little spoiler. I actually kind of enjoyed this overall experience.
It's not something like you're going to go back to like listen over and over, but it's something you can greatly appreciate what they were doing at the time.
Listen, abstract visual art can be a thing. So can abstract music.
Yeah.
So exactly. I think with that in mind, and after AJ kind of explained that to me as I did the second listen, I was like, okay. On second thought, I can make something of this. And I will say, upon the second listen, I was just like, ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah. There's some actually really good shit on this album.
Hey, if I can zone out to it and not entirely hate what I'm experiencing,
that's something.
It did something right. But no, Breath and Length, it's wild. It sounds like dogs barking on a dial-up computer. Like over top.
There's some female vocals in there who just kind of say the words breath and length over and over again. It reminds me of Eraserhead by David Lynch. There's a scene, one famous scene with the Radiator Lady, where it's this lady with like huge puffy cheeks who sings this song, and just like kind of the aura in which she sings it just reminds me of this song.
Okay.
It's very creepy.
I've heard a lot of things about that film.
We gotta watch sometime. It's fucking weird.
I heard it's kind of wild.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones where you kind of need to like be like, oh boy.
Yeah. You gotta strap in.
You gotta be in like a certain mood to watch it.
Yeah.
Which someday I will be. Maybe Halloween.
Yeah.
It'd be fun. This track is absolutely wild. I don't like it, but I appreciate it for what it is.
I like when at the very end they just break at the end. The singers, they just start laughing.
Yeah,
how ridiculous it is.
They repeat the same thing over and over again, and then the ending was so wild. I just went, "Oh fuck, what the hell?"
Yeah, the whip.
Consuelo's departure.
I'm not huge on this one.
The random percussive beats paired with the piano, it's just utter chaos.
It is. It's purely chaos.
It sounds so random, but like waltz-like in a weird way.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to describe it.
like it's like there's tangible elements of music in there, but it's so like foreign and alien and just like creepy that you can't really put your finger on it.
There's also these like weird like flangered like vocals.
Yeah.
Where it's like it's going from like one to the other.
Next.
It's weird.
It's very disorienting.
The horns are like that too.
Yeah.
It's almost nauseating, but in like a weirdly like, I don't know.
Satisfying.
I guess so.
Yeah.
It's satisfyingly horrible.
That's a great way to put this album.
It's satisfyingly horrible.
I need to suffer, Charlie. Put on my Residence records.
Give me a Smelly Tongues. But anyway.
Speaking of that.
Consuelo's departure sounds like they're going through like a fan. Like they're, when you used to like.
Yeah,
and then they're like. I know exactly what you were going for, but just like the visual of like AJ looking me like directly in the eyes, just doing that was like the funniest shit I've ever seen. Nah, it's okay. I've made weirder noises and looked him directly in the face.
That's true.
And I'm going to keep doing that.
And we still do this show.
I'm going to keep doing that. So anyway, Smelly Tongues is the 6th track.
I like this song a lot.
I literally, the first thing I wrote was, what the fuck is this?
Smelly Tongues.
I said a nice fast strum guitar over top a wet and smelly fart.
Yeah.
I do kind of like how menacing this sounds.
It is very spooky.
He does.
Very, very ominous.
He does say something like smelly tongues.
The lyric is smelly tongues look just as they fell. And they say that over and over again. Smelly tongues look just as they fell. It's very, very spooky.
I do like the way they say it. It's kind of weird, but it's fun. I honestly don't really know what to comment on. It's just crazy and percussive everywhere.
Yeah, there's like a backbeat with percussion, some like occasional guitar strikes in there, but just overall, a very disorienting track.
Yeah.
But now we move on to, I guess, the meat of the album. This is where we start getting to the actual songs, rather than just like the components of a song. First up, we have Rest Aria.
So, like, this track is utterly fascinating to me as a piano player. Mm-hmm. Like, it sounds, again, kind of like two different songs happening on top of each other. But then it kind of starts to come together a little bit. For something with like not as much direction, it does feel like it has some pain and weight of some kind.
Yeah, like you can feel something from this.
Yeah, especially the way like, because it starts off with like one hand kind of being farther on the higher end of the piano. One on the lower end, and they kind of meet in the middle and start crashing in between.
And then they start getting out of sync towards the end too. Yeah.
It's weird. It's odd. But then there's like a nice like glockenspiel kind of thing that happens, and like there's what is it's a reed instrument of some kind. I just don't know exactly what it is.
Oh fuck, hold on.
It's either like a reed instrument or just like a really.
I think it's a saxophone.
Okay, yeah, that is a reed instrument, so that checks out.
Yeah,
like it's like the most, I don't know what else like comes after the reed instrument, but there's this distorted sounding like thing.
It might be a cello. Because I think there is like a big string instrument in the background, kind of just like striking back and forth every so often.
I went, this track is unbelievable, but low-key kind of fucks.
It's really good. Like from the first startup, when you hear like the piano, you're like, oh shit. Like it really catches your attention, especially after hearing everything that came before it. It's very cool.
I think at some point, because I am still a student and a lot of times we do video projects, I think I might try to make a short film of some kind with this.
That's cool.
Because it's so fucking strange that I would love to see how, like, what comes to mind.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I have an idea or two.
Hell yeah.
So hopefully I can make, hopefully if I have the time, I can make something out of it. But Rest Aria, track number 7, wild. But honestly, I did not hate it.
Has an impact.
It's interesting. It's interesting. This next one is kind of intimidating, in my opinion. It's called Skratz.
Dirty fingernails.
Yeah. It's like this odd little jazzy, like, I don't know, because it's really short.
It is. It's the shortest. I think we're still on side 1. I think we're about to enter side 2. But it is out of this like next set of tracks, it is the shortest among them. I
feel like there needs to be a purpose for something to sound this strange, but at the same time, like, yeesh.
It's the Residence, so they're just going to throw you for a loop every time.
Now that I understand that, I'm like, yeah. Why is the spot yellow, AJ?
Don't ask me, man. When you clean your fingernails, you'll know, okay?
Listen, I'd pee the bed if I heard this too. That's all I'm saying. It's like, it's scary though.
It is. It's very aggressive.
Oh, and like the voice. Yeah. That's like throughout, it's like Skratz. Like, it's like a weird. Ugh, it's, God.
It is a very weird change of pace, especially coming after Rest Aria and in between the next song too.
I would love to, our one friend, I would love to, while he's high, try and show him and present him this album.
Yeah, Fataday would freak the fuck out.
Okay, yeah, I guess it's Fataday.
Hey, he was on the show.
That's true. That's true. I didn't want to sell him out, but at the same time, I definitely want to like. At some point, it would be pretty funny. And then I want to get his recap on it. Tune in if you guys want that. Let us know.
We'll live stream it.
We'll make a little Instagram reel.
Actually, yeah, it'd be fun. It'd be really fun.
It'd be really cool,
guys. That'll be the poll for this week. If you'd like to see that hit, yes or no.
We have some ideas, and we want to expand at some point.
Yeah, season 1 is going to be ending soon, so we're going to be coming up with some more ideas to further expand the show.
So if you like what you hear and you want to see other weird shit that we have in store, just let us know. Be vocal about it.
We appreciate all your support and comments and such.
Now, this next track is, I think, my favorite.
I love this track.
It's so weird. It's called Spotted Pinto Bean. It starts off with like these vocals singing.
Yeah, like opera singers kind of.
Yeah, it's wild. Like the only thing I could compare it to, it sounds like the Jackbox Party Pack 6. There's like this intro where it's like, it sounds like that. That's the only thing I can think of. But it's weird. It starts off with that, and then it ends with like a rocket ship taking off. But
before the lyrics come in.
Yeah. I said this is literally what the inside of my brain sounds like. I feel like the only thing I can relate to this is when you just kind of have poop brain and you kind of have like blurbs of like songs in your head, but not in full. Just me? Okay, cool. But
sorry, I have more pea brain.
That's fair. That's fair. He has the sheets are stained yellow.
Exactly.
Skratz. But yeah, there's like a nice up tempo rhythm section with some nice vocals. And then like, what are the lyrics? It's like the spotted
pinto bean, leaving, tears streaming, something about a handkerchief.
Yeah. It's something.
I believe it's about a spotted pinto bean who's trying to become an opera singer and is now leaving their life behind to go pursue their dreams. But as the song goes on, they quickly realize that show life isn't for them.
That's where the minor key kind of takes it in. Yeah, Spotted Pinto Bean is leading on a midnight streaming.
There you go, yeah.
Tears behind him all the way. Yeah, it's fun.
I could be wrong about that whole plot line, but what are your thoughts? Leave them in the comments below.
Hey, abstract art is up for interpretation.
Could be anything.
Then the handkerchiefs the pockets holding yesterday.
Yeah.
It's wild though.
It's cool.
So when it shifts to the minor key with the vocals and as it's harmonizing with all that shit in the background, it sounds like when SpongeGar and Patar are discovering what fire is, and then the barbershop quartet
you're so right.
Doing that shit. It's so funny, and like the moment I had that in my brain, I was like, okay, this is really, really funny.
Yeah,
but I like this track. It's cool.
It's fucking goofy, but you can get like a whole story just based off the music because there's not too many vocals in there, and the ones that are there just repeat.
This track belongs in some sort of like indie short film.
Yeah,
like I would love to see that. I like this track a lot. It sounds happy at first, and the second time this woman sings the same lyrics, like spotted pinto bean. That inflection reminds me of like going on the Haunted Mansion at Disney World.
Okay,
it's like the same like grinning ghosts come out and socialize, like that shit.
I think like a lot of the tracks on this album, they really remind me of David Lynch, like director of Eraserhead.
Fair enough.
Like they just give me like this very weird, unsettling industrial vibe. It's cool, very creepy, but I feel like it fits in a lot of his work.
Honestly. Has he ever experimented with anything of this? Or?
No idea. I'm not a big Lynch guy. I've only seen Eraserhead.
Fair enough. This probably scared the shit out of people in the 70s.
Yeah, this didn't really have like a huge outreach to people.
That's what I read on the wiki. That's what I read on the wiki. That it commercially it did not like do anything.
I mean, they weren't really trying to do. They were just trying to make the music they wanted to. And it wasn't until like much later.
But later it became kind of critically acclaimed as a staple in avant-garde.
Yep.
And I see why. Like it genuinely is. I love how unconventional it sounds, but then it ends like sounding like a rocket ship.
Yeah. With that studio imagery where it's like the bean in the rain.
I like to imagine that's rain.
I think so.
I like to imagine the bean just gave up.
He just
went to space.
I believe it's rain, but I could be wrong.
Oh my god! This next track though,
this is my favorite track.
Got that infant tango?
See that infant tango?
Charlie, you gotta get that infant tango.
Rick, I'm working on it.
Spotted pinto green beans, Charlie.
It's so fucking good.
I said it reminds me of Frank Reynolds. I love the fucking voice.
The voice is great, especially accompanied by those like out of tune horns.
Oh my god,
it's so good.
There's like this weird phaser on the guitar too, and the bass. It's like
yeah, it's like it goes into like a funk song. It's so cool.
It's like this weird like it's out of nowhere, but it's so fun.
It's crunchy funk. I fucking love it.
It sounds like a weird like tonally, like vibe wise, it just sounds like something out of Cuphead.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
It's like this really weird, like ritzy kind of like
upbeat, like strumathon.
Yeah, like I don't know. The funky bit kind of fucks though.
It's really good.
The horns end up making like no sense whatsoever, but it's kind of jiggy.
Yeah,
like I don't know.
There's a lot of like clashing elements, but because it's on this album, it works.
I kind of want to like play this at a party. In like a mix of music and just
all right, guys, coming up next is all-time classic Infant Tango. Grab that special lady you have and hit the dance floor.
Guys, it's just a song. It's just a song. It's fine. It's fine. All right, I can fix this. Alexa, play Ken Kniff. Anyway, but no. It just sounds like 3 songs on top of one another.
Yeah, man.
But somehow it kind of
works. It has like different sections, and each one actually flows into the next very well, even though they have nothing to do with each other.
Yeah, it's like so abstract that it honestly makes me start like thinking. Yeah, and you can kind of see a picture of some kind.
Exactly, dude. When I hear like the Infant Tango like lyrics, I'm just like, yeah, I'm like if I had a fucking like theater, like a shitty theater, watching this Infant Tango.
Yeah, there it is. It doesn't sound that bad though.
No, it's my favorite track on here. I love like the different stylistic choices they have. The instrumentation is fucking great.
I would love to do a contest of some kind or like a showcase of animators trying to just animate based on what they hear.
I know, that'd be really fucking cool.
If I get this album would be so perfect for that because I love when like people with a vision can just make something out of something else.
It's so open to interpretation.
It really, really is. This next one I also really like. It's called Seasoned Greetings. It's really fucking creepy.
But in the end, there's a really sweet message to it,
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, and all of our non-binary friends, we were back. We had a bit of a fire in the studio.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. It was a little spooky, especially considering like all the shit that we were talking about.
All the spooky shit dealing with the residents, and then just this fire alarm went off with this creepy like robot voice telling us to get out.
Given the vantage point of our studio, we got a lot of windows.
Yeah.
Well, computers, but we also have a lot of like actual windows. And I thought I saw like a guy like walking around. So talking about all these like creepy ass like songs.
Just a very creepy, foreboding atmosphere.
I was spooked, ladies and gentlemen. I have to say the least.
So residents, you did your job. Job well done.
Yeah. I do like this album. So let's finish this shit up.
Exactly, almost there. We left off with Season Greetings. Didn't really touch too much on it, but it is a very interesting song, a very nice penultimate track.
The vibe is, I really liked it from the get-go. It plays with a few different keys, which is really fun.
Yeah.
The piano is so haunting, yet it sounds like glorious, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a very good way to put most of the instrumentals on here.
I felt like it really shined in this track in particular.
Yeah.
The horns are also pretty good on this one, not gonna lie.
They're fun. I also like the metal kind of clanging for the percussion.
Yeah.
It sounds like someone's like a blacksmith or some shit, like banging metal with a hammer.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah. It's actually funny you mentioned that because you listen to Abbey Road, right?
Yeah.
For Maxwell Silver Hammer, they banged on an anvil.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's sick.
They show that in the Let It Be Get Back documentary.
Oh, nice.
So
very cool.
Yeah, just thought you should know that.
We'll tie it back into the Beatles section.
Of course. Back to seasoned greetings, 11th track. It gets funky. It gets a little funky.
Yeah, there's a lot of style shifts in this song, which is very interesting, especially at the end when it's revealed that it's a Christmas song the whole time.
Yeah, that was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It gets like slower and like the clanging. It's weird. Like I didn't know exactly what like the intention of the song, but with the clanging, it made it sound like a devious chef with evil intentions.
I see.
And then it really made me want to play the Cuphead DLC.
Oh, okay.
Because there is like
he's a salt shaker or something.
And dude, that boss battle is so difficult. I did not enjoy that. I love Cuphead. It's like one of my favorite games of all time.
Nice.
But it's like a devious like salt shaker or a devious chef really. And it picks up again after a little while. it kind of goes hard right before the end.
Yeah.
And then there's like a nice like effect pedal change midway through. Like you could tell it was cool to like hear a sound and exactly be able to place what exactly happened.
It's cool.
Like there's like a guitar or whatever. And then like it was like the same guitar, but just with a different effect. It was like, oh shit, a pedal shift. Mm-hmm. Like that was kind of cool. I was like, my production skills in school have not entirely gone to waste.
They're paying off.
Exactly. So it does kind of go hard. And then out of nowhere, this guy kind of goes like, Merry Christmas. Yep. It's like so weird.
It's it throws you for a loop, what this whole album's trying to do.
How in the fuck did that guy hit the piano so fast at the end? Did you hear that shit?
I don't think I did. I think I missed that.
That shit was wild. This guy hit the piano like so fucking fast.
Oh shit.
Dude,
it was just like pure silence and just like bashed in into like what happened.
It's like kind of midway through as the song is like ending or whatever. But like, I swear to God, this dude was like hitting his piano like it was.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, it was fucking insane. I was like, honestly, not.
Yeah, they're like very competent musicians. They just choose to make it sound as weird as possible.
Well, finally, we are at our 12th track and the last track of this album, the Energy Crisis Blues, parentheses. Yes. This song is 10 minutes.
It is 10 minutes, and it does sound like 10 minutes. This might be probably my least favorite, I guess, longer track on this album.
Yeah.
I feel like it overstays its welcome a little too much.
I would completely agree. Mm-hmm. The guy saying Christmas is pretty funny, though. He's like, Christmas.
I like that it carries over from Season Greetings. That's fun.
And I kind of just went like, oh, Christ, this feels violent. It's like really like rough in the beginning.
Yeah. Like, I will say that the transition game on this album is actually surprisingly good.
Yeah, I will say.
There's really good segues. Also, sorry for the yawning. It is almost 11 o'clock at night.
My bad. Sorry, ladies, gents, and non-binary pals.
But hey, we're making it work.
We are trying to make it work.
Just for you guys, because we love you.
The one guy in this track is going like, nobody but me.
Yeah.
Sounds like Fat Albert. It's
hey, there's a crisis.
But then like, it's weird. It transitions into this like weird like surf rock kind of deal.
Yeah, right?
And I'm like, the fuck? Like,
you have the distant keys and you have the dark building bass line. It's fucking crazy.
I did start laughing though, because there's this one part where like the song is playing and the guy is like, it's like, like the song is playing and there's this guy who sounds like he's hearing the song and like singing along. And I'm like, that's funny.
That's ingenious. That's like, great.
It's like weird. It's like a weird self-awareness almost.
It's like in the Ween song "Take Me Away," when like after the first lyric, he goes, "Take me away, thank you." Then you just hear people clap in the background.
I love it. At one point, because of all the fucking noise, I went, shit, their tape recorder must hate them a lot.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus
There's a lot going on. There's also more style shifts on this song. I especially like the flute solo that they have.
Yeah, that was kind of wild. Mm-hmm. This is just honestly like probably I'd say this is arguably the most chaotic.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Sound.
I mean, it's the longest, so they have a lot of room to play around.
Of course.
And unfortunately, I don't think it works as cohesively as other tracks.
It sounds like at some point, it sounds like tiny goblins being tickled so hard that it hurts. That's the only way I could describe it.
I mean, I guess we're not the only ones with ghoul infestation, so that makes it good to know, you know?
That's how you get rid of goblins. You just got to tickle them, you know what I mean?
Exactly. A good goblin tickle is good for everyone.
Keeps the doctor away.
Yes. Exactly.
Yet again, midway through this song, I had no idea what to make of this.
Yeah.
There was a nice little xylophone solo of some kind.
I like the timpani solo as well.
Yeah, that's true. At one point, it sounded like something out of Rugrats if it was just a bit more chaotic.
With like the xylophone kind of? Yeah, I hear that.
Then there's some like whistles. Or is that the flute?
That might be the flute. I'm not sure.
It's like a weird whistle of some kind.
This is the song that kind of like stayed with me the least, so I'm having like hard time. Picking it up.
I definitely did not. I even after 2 listens, this song is a bit like, whoa. Like,
yeah. I do like at the very end where the instruments cut out and then you have like a nice barbershop quartet kind of sound.
Yeah.
At the end, I wrote that. I said, when everything cuts out and it goes into that barbershop quartet segment, I saw God.
Did you know it samples a song by Human Beinz?
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I don't remember which one, but it does sample a song.
Cool. Which
is kind of wild. I don't know what part it samples,
but it's there.
But yeah, I've never I barely listen to Human Beinz, but like I've only listened I think to like one song, and it was while ago.
Gotcha.
I listen, when Spotify recommends me shit, I just like something.
Yeah.
And I remember names. I never remember songs. I'm like,
That's
okay,
fair.
I'll remember that for next time. And I just don't really get around to it until it somehow comes back to me.
Nice.
A lot of your albums have actually done that.
Oh,
Where like
cool.
you'll give me an artist or something that I think like, oh, I've never even heard this before. And I'll be like, oh, wait, yeah, I have.
Nice.
So it's fun.
Sweet.
It's fun. I was going to say, these like weird syncopated hits combined with like the tapping of sticks is odd too at like the one part.
The percussive elements on this whole album are very odd. There's never really like a straightforward kit. I think there is on Infant Tango, but most of the time it's just like random percussive like elements that they just find.
Do you know what the song is about?
Something about America.
Yeah, that's why, because the Go Home America 55 will do.
Yeah. It might be about like maybe like an energy crisis. I'm not too sure about that. I wouldn't be surprised. These guys sound like they are, pretty good with satire. And so this is over my head.
Nah, that's fair. That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I think that just about does it for this album.
Yeah, an overall interesting experience, Matt. So what are your final thoughts?
I'm going to read you what I wrote.
All right.
I don't think that I've ever heard anything like this album before.
Mm-hmm.
It is erratic in almost every place and makes choices that I don't even know how to fully comprehend. I think it's interesting what samples are used throughout this album, even though they're not exactly used in like a reinforced way, but rather like just, it's really just, like, I would say that it's not really structured, this album, but every decision is just kind of expressed and just wherever it lands, it lands.
I agree.
Like that's the best way I could describe it. Like it's expressed without a lot of structure. This album has no like solidity, but where it doesn't have solidity, it has ambition and a lot of decisions. I've never listened to abstract music and try to pay attention to all its elements before.
Yeah.
But it definitely opened my eyes to a whole new like style of music that can actually be enjoyed. Because unlike the lack of the structure, I did enjoy listening to this.
Hell yeah.
Or despite, I should have said, despite the lack of structure, I did enjoy listening to this. I'm the type of person who really needs everything to be like even, but this was odd everywhere. However, I'm seeing now that this is sort of like a cult classic in this like style of music's community almost. It's like a staple almost.
Residents are definitely up there for avant-garde experimental rock bands.
A hallmark, if you will.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about other synonyms. This thesaurus you guys sent me sucks. No, I got to give credit where credit is due, though. It really piqued my interest, and now I really want to know more about the overall like style, the genres within the style, and just about this group. I think they are worth the checkout. I can't wait to listen to their other stuff. My word of advice to anybody who wants to try and drink or smoke anything before listening to this album: don't.
Yeah,
Ever
that's
do that.
fair. Unless I guess your experience with this album beforehand.
Also, unless like, well, if you hadn't listened to this album previously, like you just said, do not do that.
Yeah.
Like,
Listen to Sober first.
I never do that whenever I like listen to any of my stuff. Like I've never tried to do that. But like, I can tell you right now, that first time listeners.
Hey, we were sober when the fucking fire alarm happened. Imagine you were fucking high when that happened, dude.
Dude, I would have been, oh God. I get very triggered by certain stimuli sometimes. But yeah, I gotta say, I gotta give this like 7.8 spotted pinto beans out of 10. You know what I mean? And then a nice B tier.
Hell yeah.
Because, hey, it piqued my interest for sure. It was definitely made to turn heads. And I think I like their whole motif, and I like how they execute it. It's very strange, but I gotta say, it's a journey that I did enjoy.
Hell yeah, dude.
So
I'm glad to hear.
Yeah, B tier.
I discovered this album I think like a year or two ago, and I was kind of blown away by it. It was very, very strange to get into, but it opened my eyes. Though at the time, Ween and other bands, like even Captain Beefheart, I knew beforehand. So I kind of knew what I was getting into, but I still enjoyed. It's tonally all over the place. Instrumentally, it sounds pretty bad in places, but that's the whole point. It's to keep you uncomfortable, to keep you on your toes. And they do a great job at that. The constant style, tempo, and meter shifts, I think, are great. Adds a lot of variety to an overall similar sounding and feeling album, like I guess tone and vibe wise.
Yeah.
The vocals are goofy as hell, and I love them.
Yeah, they are fun, I will say. Smelly Tongues.
Infant Tango.
There's just so much.
There's great voices. Yeah. Like this album kind of exudes personality which is very interesting for a band who's never shown their identity. It's really cool. So overall, I'm going to give this about a 7.4 out of 10 and a solid B tier. Well, man, that was a really fun episode.
It really was. A lot of things that we covered.
Yeah.
All of them kind of correlated to the Beatles. Mm-hmm. Like one directly, obviously. The other one kind of. But like really interesting in terms of sound.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting about like these two albums, even though the second album is not exactly correlated with the Beatles, I think given the idea of like how strange the White Album gets toward the end and the usage of like the tapes and stuff like that, I think if the Beatles were like granted the chance to go fucking like crazy with their production, they would have definitely have tried to make something along the lines
similar,
of this.
Yeah.
And they probably could have if they were granted by their record labels and shit.
But they were just too popular.
They were too popular. So I think it probably for the best, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Revolution 9 is cool, but doesn't really compare to anything on Meet the Residents.
No, especially in comparison to everything on the White Album.
Exactly, yeah.
So, I mean, like, even though the White Album also kind of has some interesting, like, direction and tone, it still has, like, enough where...
Structure.
Like, yes.
Yeah.
Enough structure where it seems like it all fits together. But even so, with, like, with this Meet the Residents, it's all over the place. But it doesn't sound like they don't fit together.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It is controlled chaos in a way.
In a way.
But just like even farther beyond.
It's controlled chaos within parameters that are just very, 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 very far away.
Yeah.
Like a wide acre of land. And this only is like a fraction of it, if that makes sense. So.
Yeah. Not much else to say. As always, I'm your host, Sadie Tenari.
And I'm Matt Glass.
Thank you all for listening. We'll see you next week.
Peace.